Welcome to Quest for Metal. Today we are ranking Swallow the Sun albums from my least favourite to my favourite. Swallow the Sun, one of my favourite bands of all time. They'd be in my top 10 now. I adore them. Death Doom, masters from Finland. Beautiful singing, beautiful screaming, beautiful melodies. I could gush about them all fucking day. But we got a video to do, so before I get started on my list, you know how it goes. Pop yours down in the comments below. What's your favourite Swallow the Sun album? What's your least favourite? And this is really hard, you know. I love every single album here. So I guess just let's go. So coming in last is Emerald Forest and the Blackbird, which is a great album. This is an amazing album. It's like an 8 out of 10. Why is it? I have to put something last, you know. Now don't at me. I have to put something last. This one has some amazing songs on. Some of my favourite by Swallow the Sun. It's got Cathedral Walls on with Annette from Nightwish, and I love that song. That would be my top 10 Swallow the Sun songs. It brings a tear to my eye every time I listen to that song. Hate Lead the Way is a beautifully somber song as well. Hearts Wide Shut and April 14th. There's too many good songs on this one. It's just, I find myself not really listening to it as much as the others. I know this is probably like a controversial one because loads of people love this one. Probably because of Cathedral Walls, but I do think some of the songs, they're all amazing. They just lack replayability for me compared to all the other albums. So, and memorability, replayability and memorability. Aside from a couple of them, but it's still a flawless album. You know, this is one of the bands where they don't have a bad album. So this is ridiculously hard, but we got to do it. Emerald is last because I don't play it as much as the others. I never want to go back to it. But when I do, it's a great time. It's just, other albums just hit you more, you know? So let's get to them. Next up is Hope, which is a fantastic one. If you saw my other Swallow the Sun ranking, which I did a tier list, I think this was like, I think it was low down. I think it was higher than Ghosts of Lost, but I like that one now a lot more. I think that was like last, but that's now quite high. But yeah, Hope is a fantastic album again. But again, it's not one I really reach out to, aside from select few songs. And one of them is bloody amazing, because it's got Jonas from Catatonia on. Justice of Suffering. Catatonia plus Swallow the Sun. Oh, wow, just brain melting. Two of my favourite bands. Two of the most melancholic bands around. Making a song together. And it's amazing. Justice of Suffering. Fucking flawless song. Don't Fall Asleep Horror Part 2 is a masterpiece as well, and the title track Hope and Doomed to Walk the Earth, they always have a great song at the end. You know what you're getting yourself in for. It's a bleak time, it's a depressing time, but it's actually quite catchy. This album's quite catchy. Not quite as catchy as I'd say Emerald, which is why I do prefer this one a bit more. It's a bit more bleak, I'd say. But it's still a fantastic album from start to finish, but I like others more. This is going to be one of those rankings where everyone's going to get mad because I don't really give proper criticism for albums because I fucking love them all. But you know what? Hold on to your pants, because that's just what you're going to have to deal with as we move on to the next one. Ghosts of Lost is next. That's risen up in my rankings because of some songs which are bloody masterpieces. The Giant especially. What a way to open a fucking album. The Giant is a giant of a song, I should say. 11 minutes, almost 12-minute long song to start off the album. That's what we like to see here. We love prog, we love doom, we love epicness, and this delivers all. Psychopath's Lair as well is so catchy. And The Ship to close off the album, another almost like 9-minute long song. Oh, I'm in heaven. Gloomy, depressing, dark, foresty heaven. And Ghosts of Lost delivers that, and the artwork's beautiful. Not just because it's, it's some woman with her tits out. It's a great album cover, art. It's good. What can I say? This album has grown on me since last time, and it's overtaken Hope, overtaken Emerald and the Blackbird, and it's now sitting here, respectably. I love this album. I love all these albums, but, what more can I say? What more do you want from me? Swallow the Sun's goddamn amazing. So let's just keep rolling. Next up is the latest one, When a Shadow is Forced into the Light. And that song when he sings, When a Shadow is Forced into the Light. Oh, it's beautiful. The singing is majestic, on that song especially. And Upon the Water, where he's just like, upon the water, song of the birds still echoes silent. I can't do it. No, I can't do it. But he delivers it justice, and this is the album that got me into the band. Yeah, I know the new one. I'm a late bloomer. I was a big fan of Catatonia and other bands like that, and I found this album and I was like, I'll give it a chance. It blew my head off. So I'm thankful for this album. That's why it's higher, because it got me into it. And Upon the Water has got to be one of my favourite songs by them of all time. It's beautiful. And Firelights. I did a reaction like back in the reaction fucking days. But you didn't know I used to be a reaction channel. Cut that shit out. But yeah. Firelights. One of the first songs I heard by Swallow the Sun. Made me get the album. Made me fall in love with them. And it's on this fucking album. So this album always holds a place in my heart. So it's going to go higher than some of the others. Some of the songs are a bit hit and miss. I do think on this one compared to some of the others. Some of the mid parts, some of the mid songs on it, probably only like one or two, are a bit like, a bit bland. But the last couple, the first chunk, fantastic. So, yeah, great album, and I got nostalgia for it, so it's going here. Next up is The Morning Never Came. This one has risen a lot. At first I was like, this is just another great Swallow the Sun album. But now I'm like, this is a 10 out of fucking 10 album. This is an album I'd give Death Doom fans straight away. This is more darker. This is darker than all of them. It is more just straight up Death Doom. Straight up fucking Death Doom. More like, Paradise Lost, Anathema, early Anathema. This is alongside them. This is probably like the fucking most famous one as well. Through Her Silvery Body, majestic. Swallow Horror Part 1's great as well. But the Piece de la Resistance, the best song and one of the best songs by Swallow the Sun, is the final song, The Morning Never Came. Oh, how good is that? How good is that? If you don't know how good it is, go listen to it, because it's fucking good. With that kind of evil melody, it's like, and just, this is probably, it'll be up there. It'll be my top 5 songs by them. It'll be easily my top 5 songs by them, because this song and this album, if it was any other band, this would be number 1. This is better than anything by like a lot of other bands, but we have to compare it to itself. And there's 2 that just take the biscuit more. So I gotta put it as number 3 in my ranking, but just know this. This is a beautiful album, and I'd recommend this one before any of the other albums. So go give it a listen. Now, number 2 and number 1 is really hard, because I love them both. And I really want to... I don't know. This is too hard, man. This is too hard, but I think I'm gonna go with Songs from the North as number 2. This was my number 1. Yeah, it was in my top 50 albums of all time. I still think it should be in my top 50 albums of all time, but New Moon has fucking overtaken it. But let's talk about this fucking album, because it's not just one album, it's 3 albums. You got a Funeral Doom album, you got the classic Death Doom, and then you got the middle album, which is kind of all clean singing and beautiful melodies, and I love that. 3 for the price of 1. This is 3 albums here. So I was tempted to put this in number 1. But if I'm looking at it all as a package, New Moon is 1 album, and it's way shorter, but every fucking song is a masterpiece. On this, there's some which are just really good, others which are masterpieces, but some which are just pretty good. So, I've got to give it to my boy, New Moon, but the songs on here are fucking amazing. With these songs from the North, that song is so good. Silver Bullets, catchy as all hell. Rooms and Shadows, Heartstrings Shattering. I am lost and catatonic. Lost and Catatonic. I think the first disc is easily the best, because it's the more classic Swallow the Sun, it's the Death Doom, it's easily the best. The other 2, pretty equal. I love them both, but that first disc, man, so many good hits. Then you got, of course, Songs from the North and 66, 50 degrees north, 28, 40 degrees east. I'm guessing that's how you say it. But that's a beautiful song as well. And you got some of the Funeral Doom songs, which are beautiful and long and just so much. It's a unique album. I'm tempted to put this in number 1 now. I'm very tempted because of how unique, how different, how interesting it is. But I will save you from that. I will stop myself. It's number 2. It's so close, but it's number 2. Now, let's talk about New Fucking Moon. My favourite Swallow the Sun album of all time is New Moon. From the artwork, you know it's going to be heavy. This is the heaviest Swallow the Sun album. Maybe that's why it's my favourite, but it's heavy, it's riffy at parts, it's very catchy. It's more death than Death Doom, but it's still, still fucking doomy, still gloomy, but every song's amazing. Every song's catchy. When it starts off with my favourite song by them, These Woods, Breathe Evil. How good is that song? It's a masterpiece. It's a fucking masterpiece. New Moon as well. How fucking catchy is that song? Sleepless Swans is beautiful. And The Heavens Cried Blood. Heavy as fuck. This album is heavy. This is catchy. This is Riff City. It's doomy. It's gloomy, but it's not like too long. It's not like 3 albums. It's a nice length, and it's just a flawless album. As much as I want to put Songs from the North number 1, and I have done for a while, re-listening to everything, New Moon is like perfect. I can't say the same for every other album. So this is my 10 out of 10, my flawless album, the album that I should replace Songs from the North with, but Songs from the North is still fucking amazing, so, go listen to that as well. So, yeah, this has been hard. Swallow the Sun's one of my favourite bands, so this is one of the hardest rankings I've ever had to do. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this ranking of me gushing about one of my favourite bands. Hopefully you get into this band. I adore them. Let me know your favourites down below, and we'll see you again on another Quest for Metal.